I woke up early on a crisp Sunday morning, the kind of day when the air feels fresh and everything seems light and promising. At least, it used to. Rolling over, I caught sight of my wife, Olivia. 5 years of marriage, and she still had that serene glow when she slept. When her eyes fluttered open, she pulled me close and kissed me softly. "Not this morning, Ethan," she teased, her voice warm. "You wore me out last night. Can you blame me?" I smirked. "Just trying to do my part to get us that baby." It was half a joke, half the truth. She wrapped her arms around me and whispered, "We'll get there. Just be patient." Our morning flowed as usual, casual conversation, discussing plans for the day. Olivia brought up work again, her obsession with landing that regional sales manager promotion. I played along, though I had heard the same speech 100 times. Her ambition had never been a problem. Until now. I had admired it before, but something inside me started to itch. She hopped into the shower, and I decided to be a good husband and run out to grab her favorite overpriced latte. Halfway out the door, I realized I had left my keys on the kitchen counter. She carried a spare in her purse, so I figured I'd just grab it from there. What's hers is ours, right? That's when I found them. In a small, zipped compartment inside her purse, not hidden well enough, lay a pack of birth control pills. They stared back at me like the punchline of a cruel joke. For a moment, I couldn't move. My stomach twisted as I turned the pack over. The prescription date was recent, just a few weeks old. A third of the pills were gone. She was supposed to have stopped taking these months ago. She had promised. By the time I left the house with her coffee, my mind was racing. Was she just not ready for kids? Had she changed her mind and not told me? It didn't make sense. She acted like she wanted this as much as I did. I was sure she wasn't cheating, or was I? We spent almost all our free time together, and her best friend Sophie was married to my best friend Ryan. It didn't add up. Unless. I pushed the thought aside, but a small voice whispered in the back of my mind, "You don't know as much as you think you do." Later that day, Olivia and I were heading to Ryan and Sophie's for dinner. I must have been quieter than usual because she nudged me as we got into the car. "What's up with you today? You've been acting weird since this morning." "Just tired, I guess," I said, shrugging it off. No way was I dropping this bomb in the middle of a car ride. Dinner passed in a blur. I was barely present, picking at my food and nodding in the right places. Afterward, Ryan pulled me into his garage, sensing something was off. "All right, Ethan, spill. What's eating at you?" I hesitated for a second before telling him everything. The pills. The timeline. The broken promise. His expression hardened. "You gotta find out what's really going on," he said. "Hire a PI if you have to." "Olivia isn't cheating," I said automatically, my voice sharp. "There's no way." "Then prove it," he shot back. "If you're so sure, a PI will clear things up. Or do you not want to know?" The challenge hit me like a slap. He wasn't wrong. If I didn't do something, this uncertainty would eat me alive. The next morning, I hired a private investigator. Someone our company used for corporate security. Discreet, reliable, and thorough. "I don't think it's an affair," he said after I told him the basics. "But I'll look into it. People can surprise you." And surprise me she did. 3 weeks. That's how long it took for the PI to deliver his findings. 3 agonizing weeks of pretending everything was fine while Olivia walked around as if nothing had changed. For her, nothing had. For me, every conversation, every glance felt like a game of Russian roulette. I started acting differently, pulling back physically and emotionally. Olivia noticed, of course. By the second week, she confronted me. "Ethan, what is going on with you?" she asked one night. We were in the living room, and I was nursing a whiskey instead of talking to her. Nothing, I said too quickly, my tone betraying me. Don't give me that, she snapped. You've been distant, moody, and now drinking instead of talking to me. Just tell me what's wrong. The fight that followed was our first big one in years. I accused her of pulling away first, and she threw my distance back in my face. It was ugly, loud, and unresolved. You're going to push me away if you don't stop, she yelled before storming into the bedroom. I didn't follow. Instead, I sat on the couch, drained but resolute. If she was hiding something, I would know soon enough. On the morning of her 30th birthday, the PI handed me a folder. It was thick. That's never a good sign. Before you look, just know this is going to hurt, he said, sliding it across the table. He hesitated, then added, but you need to listen to the audio. Watch the video. Context matters. Context? I asked, my voice already tight. You'll understand when you see it. I drove straight to Ryan's. I needed a drink, something strong, and I needed backup. Ryan took one look at my face as I walked into his garage and poured me a double. Not good, huh? Worse, I said, sliding the folder toward him. Knock yourself out. As he flipped through the photos, his expression darkened. Olivia, smiling too brightly at her boss, Nathan. A middle-aged, smug-looking guy I'd met at company events. They weren't just friendly. The pictures showed Olivia entering hotels during lunch breaks. Her car parked in places it shouldn't have been during work meetings. Then came the video. I pressed play on the laptop, my stomach already in knots. At first, just voices. Olivia's voice, calm and businesslike, this is the last time. We agreed on that. Come on, Olivia, Nathan replied, his tone dripping with arrogance. If you want that promotion, you know what you have to do. The video transitioned to a hotel room. Olivia was there. And so was Nathan. The rest, well, let's just say they weren't discussing sales targets. Ryan slammed the laptop shut after about 30 seconds. Jesus Christ, Ethan. I couldn't speak. My hands were shaking, not from sadness. I was beyond that. This wasn't a wife falling out of love. This wasn't someone chasing passion or connection. This was cold, calculated betrayal. She traded our marriage for a corner office, I finally said, my voice barely above a whisper. Ryan nodded, his jaw tight. What now? I downed my drink. I'm giving her the birthday party she'll never forget. I spent the rest of the week putting together my plan. If Olivia wanted to climb the corporate ladder at any cost, I was going to show her exactly what that cost was, publicly. Ryan and Sophie were eager to help. Sophie had no idea about Olivia's betrayal. Ryan had only told her that we were throwing a halfway to 50 surprise party for her best friend. Sophie loved the idea and ran with it, suggesting corny themes like Over the Hill and even a fake retirement gag. I let her take the lead. It was perfect. She took care of all the invites, including Olivia's colleagues, her parents, and, of course, Nathan and his wife, Lisa. I personally invited Nathan, making sure to emphasize how much it would mean to Olivia to have her boss there. Bring your wife too, I added as sweetly as I could manage. He didn't suspect a thing. Why would he? I was just a doting husband celebrating his wife's big day. Meanwhile, Ryan and I prepped for the main event. I met with a tech-savvy friend who eagerly helped turn the PI's evidence into a masterpiece, a multimedia exposé. The video, the audio, the incriminating photos, it was all being edited into a seamless chronological slideshow. The piece de resistance. Nathan's sleazy dialogue, synced perfectly with the footage. I wasn't just going to expose them. I was going to make them the stars of the most awkward, humiliating birthday party in history. By Sunday morning, everything was ready. Olivia had no idea what was coming. She thought Sophie was taking her out shopping for curtains. Meanwhile, I had turned our house into full-on party central, streamers, balloons, a custom cake with 30 and thriving written in icing. The works. Guests started arriving at 2:30 p.m. By 3 o'clock, the house was packed. At exactly 3:10, Olivia walked in. Surprise! Her face lit up with genuine joy, until her eyes landed on Nathan. I saw it then, the micro-expression. A flicker of panic. Her smile faltered, her hand twitched nervously at her side. "Ethan, you didn't," she gasped, throwing her arms around me. "Of course I did," I said, holding her close. She couldn't see my face, but Ryan later told me that the smile I gave her was chilling. For the first hour, Olivia played the part of the perfect birthday girl, chatting, laughing, making small talk. But she kept glancing around the room, her eyes lingering on Nathan and his wife, Lisa, who was obliviously sipping a cocktail. I kept the drinks flowing, making sure everyone was well fed and, most importantly, well lubricated for what was coming next. At exactly 5 p.m., I clinked my glass to get everyone's attention. "Thanks for coming, everyone. As you all know, Olivia's turning 30, and we're so proud of her, both as a wife and as a career woman. So I thought it'd be fun to take a little trip down memory lane and celebrate some of her biggest accomplishments." I gestured toward the TV. The slideshow began. At first, it was innocent enough, baby Olivia in a onesie, middle school Olivia with braces, our wedding photo. She laughed, blushing at the childhood pictures, playing along as I made little jokes. The crowd was eating it up. Then came the work photos. Olivia at her desk, smiling with colleagues. A picture of her and Nathan at a company event. I glanced at her just in time to see the color drain from her face. "Now, Olivia's always been ambitious," I said, my voice laced with sarcasm. "When she sets her sights on something, she'll do whatever it takes to get it." The next image appeared. A still frame from the hotel footage. Olivia and Nathan. In bed. The room erupted into gasps. Olivia shot out of her seat. "Ethan, stop this," she screamed. "Oh, we're just getting started," I said, pressing play. The video began rolling. The audio was loud. Crystal clear. Nathan's voice. "Come on, Olivia, if you want that promotion, get those legs higher." A collective "oh my god" swept through the crowd. Lisa turned to Nathan, her face twisted in pure rage. Guests were whispering. Some were already standing, looking for an exit. Olivia lunged at me, but Ryan stepped in, holding her back. "Not a good look, Olivia," he murmured with a smirk. Meanwhile, Lisa was on a warpath. She slapped Nathan so hard his glasses flew off. Then she grabbed a drink off the table and dumped it over his head. "You disgusting, lying bastard," she shrieked. A hush fell over the room as a server I had hired, who also happened to be a process server, stepped forward and handed both Olivia and Nathan an envelope. "You've been served," he said, walking away like he had just delivered a pizza. The room was in chaos. Olivia collapsed into a chair, her face buried in her hands, sobbing uncontrollably. Nathan, trying to save face, stood and brushed the drink off his shirt. "This is ridiculous," he barked, his voice shaky. "Ethan, you're out of line." "Out of line?" I stepped forward. "No, Nathan. Sleeping with my wife to dangle a promotion over her head, that's out of line." Lisa turned to Olivia, eyes burning. "Oh, and happy birthday, you cheap little." Olivia flinched as Lisa stormed out, dragging a humiliated Nathan behind her. By the time the dust settled and the guests had cleared out, the house was eerily quiet. Olivia was still sitting on the couch, clutching the divorce papers she had been served during the spectacle. Her eyes were bloodshot. Her makeup streaked with tears. "You've ruined me," she whispered, her voice trembling. I took a slow sip of my whiskey. No, I said. You ruined you. I just pulled back the curtain. Ethan, I was going to stop. I swear, it was only. Save it, I cut her off. I don't care why you did it. You lied to me. You betrayed me. And for what? A corner office? A bigger paycheck? Was it worth it? She didn't answer. She just stared at the divorce papers like they were a death sentence. Ethan, please, she begged, voice shaking. Don't do this. We can fix this. I let out a bitter laugh. Fix this? I shook my head. There's no fixing this, Olivia. You killed our marriage the moment you decided a promotion was worth more than your integrity. Or your husband. The next day, the consequences of her actions hit like a freight train. The scandal spread through her workplace. By Monday afternoon, she was placed on unpaid leave pending an internal investigation. Nathan wasn't so lucky. He was fired on the spot. By the end of the week, Nathan was not only out of a job, but also facing a lawsuit for workplace misconduct. And Olivia? She had lost everything. Happy birthday, indeed.